Just to share about our weekend this weekend, it was actually really tremendous. We didn't just have a little get together. We did something that was absolutely monumental for our family. So my grandmother and my grandfather were born one day apart. So they were literally one day from each other. January 18th and January 19th, 1918 was the day that each of them were born. So they would have just celebrated their 100th birthdays. And so what we did is we planned a gathering with all of our immediate family, and we got together on Saturday and we celebrated 100 years. We celebrated who they were and honored them. And we did something actually really extraordinary. I had met a gentleman by the name of Colonel Tim Cole a few years back as part of my mastermind that I was part of out of Dallas, Texas. And Colonel Cole shared with me during our conversations about this passion that he had for honoring veterans. And so this whole thing transpired a few years ago where he actually gave me the idea to learn about and celebrate my grandfather's World War II record. Now, none of us in the family knew anything about his record other than the fact that he was in the Battle of the Bulge. He was the communications officer at the Bridge of Remagen, which was one of the major strategies that ended the war much sooner than it would have ended. But Colonel Cole actually studied and researched my grandfather's war record for over 6 months. He produced this shadow box full of all of the medals that he had won, and he gave us a timeline and showed us a map of where his unit went and what he did and why he received so many honors and even individual honors. And it was just the most fascinating. There was not a dry eye in the house. I mean, we were all just completely blown away by the true war hero that my grandfather was. So we had conversations that evening that none of us had ever had during his lifetime or since. And we got to really appreciate and honor both he and my grandmother for being who they were and creating the family they created. So that's a very personal story about having meaningful conversation. But what we really recognize is that, in leadership in general, if you want to have influence in a relationship, you've got to have trust. And there is no other better way to build trust than to have these conversations that are deeper than surface level.